Welcome back to Inside Asia again. This week we have with us Mr. Thanong Kantong, Editor-in-Chief of the Nation Multimedia Group. Again, let's continue our talk from last week that we stopped about the ASEAN. And we have known that ASEAN could not agree on the joint communique of the Phnom Penh meeting. And what was happening on this issue?
I think the member countries couldn't agree on how to phrase or how to come up with the main points, on the South China Sea. And so I think Cambodia, as a host, would like to, push the burden out of its chest, yes. push it away. So it didn't try to approve, the final draft of the joint communique. In this way, the meeting passed on this hot potato to the summit later on this year in November. Yes. And as we know, after the ASEAN summit, there would be the East Asian summit. So President Obama, presumably that he'll get re-elected, will fly over to this region to determine, to settle this issue, with China. Okay. I think the stage has been set for this issue to be blown up, to this, to a broader, global level, rather than the conflict, within the ASEAN or within this region.
So that means this is the internal pressure from ASEAN itself, or the external pressure from superpower?
I think Cambodia is very smart.
Yes.
Cambodia has come under Chinese influence for quite some time.
Oh, yes.
But until recently, Cambodia is also playing the U.S. card. Mm-hmm. U.S. now has a vested interest in Cambodia's oil and gas.
Yes. And
China has been a long-standing partner of Cambodia. So Cambodia, doesn't want to take a stand. Yes. So that's why it brushed aside, or it pushed out, past the buck, to the summit.
Okay. And what is the main discussion of the agreement? Why some of the state members doesn't agree on this statement?
I couldn't remember the exact details, but the Philippines or Vietnam, would like certain wordings, in the declaration, in the joint communique.
Yes.
I think both, would like to internationalize the issues. Yes. Whereas the position of China would like to maintain, the conflict at the bilateral level. Yes. Meaning that, if Vietnam or the Philippines has any problem with China, they can settle it through the bilateral channel, rather than blowing it up to the international level, in which China will have no control over the course of the direction of the negotiations.
So that means we have three players, right? The big players are America, China, and ASEAN. So it seems like America takes side with ASEAN, isn't it? Because ASEAN, especially for the Philippines and Vietnam, have a conflict with China. So that's why I don't really understand why ASEAN could not come up with this agreement, because ASEAN should take side with ASEAN state members.
If you see, I don't think that there has been any unity in ASEAN.
Oh, yes.
If you look at the border conflict between Thailand and Cambodia.
Yes, sir.
The relations between Thailand and Laos. Vietnam's rivalry with Thailand.
Yes.
Thailand, sometimes border problems with Myanmar. And the looking at the south, we also have border problems with Malaysia.
Yes.
And Malaysia and Singapore, there has been, long-standing rivalry there. So there is no unity of ASEAN in the first place. So if you're expecting, particularly, when we have arrived at this point, when the conflict, at the global levels are being played out. As I said, the Euro crisis, the containment of Russia, the crisis in the Middle East involving Syria and Iran, and then the South China Sea. It's impossible for Thailand or ASEAN, to have a strong position because outside the influence, will try to, break us apart or trying to drag us, to their side. So it's very difficult because we are neighbors with China, in the north. So we have to make sure that over the long term, we coexist peacefully. But then the United States have been long-standing military allies, security allies, trading partners, and all the security arrangements, all the international arrangements. The ASEAN countries have a very good relationship with the U.S. Thailand and the ASEAN have a very difficult situation now because it has to, I think both have to try to walk the delicate balance between the rivalry of the superpowers, China on the other side and United States and all the Western superpowers on the other side. Geographically speaking, the ASEAN and Thailand are very close to China. No matter it's good or bad, we have to live with our northern neighbors for another 1,000 years or another a million years to come.
To the end of the world.
To the end of the world. But regarding the United States and the Western superpowers, after World War II or before that, we have very strong orientation toward that. Most of the businessmen, most of the academics, most of the leaders have education there. And after World War II, they have built up institutions, the academic institutions, the political framework to be in line or to support that global framework led by the United States, which has been trying to promote democracy, globalization,
capitalism,
liberalization, liberal capitalism. So we've been adopting that mode, of thoughts and also the models, of the Western world. And now, the reality is that China and United States can't get along. And the conflict will become more intense, in the months or in the years to come, because of the structural problems that I have raised, earlier, that China is rising, preparing to promote its yuan currency and trying to hook up with the ASEAN via connectivity, via the regional free trade agreements, and also via the yuan currency. So if China can create the yuan bloc, within ASEAN, it will have enormous political and financial power, to challenge the influence, from the dollar regime, which is now dominating, our global economy.
After the short break, we will come back and discuss more about this.